America, a land of beauty, opportunity, and freedom. But beneath this shining exterior lies a darker side, a lurking shadow. Tonight, we delve into the heart of that darkness. Join me as we unearth 10 of the most chilling cases in the annals of American crime. From the bustling streets of Chicago to the sun-drenched highways of California, we'll retrace the steps of these sinister figures, exploring their motives and the terrifying impact their crimes had on their victims and the world. Our journey into the abyss begins in the late 19th century, in the burgeoning metropolis of Chicago. It was here, amidst the frenzy of the 1893 World's Fair, that Herman Webster Mudgett, better known as H.H. Holmes, constructed his own palace of horrors. Holmes built a hotel he called the World's Fair Hotel, later dubbed the Murder Castle by a horrified public. This labyrinthine structure was a macabre masterpiece, riddled with secret passages, hidden rooms, and gas chambers, all designed to trap his unsuspecting victims. The exact number of souls lost within the walls of Holmes's murder castle remains a mystery, with estimates ranging from a handful to over 200. Holmes's reign of terror finally came to an end in 1894, when he was apprehended for insurance fraud. The gruesome discoveries made within his hotel shocked the nation, revealing a depth of depravity seldom seen before. The case of H.H. Holmes stands as a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath a veneer of normalcy. Our journey takes us now to the sun-drenched highways of Florida, where a different breed of killer emerged in the late 20th century. Aileen Wuornos, a woman hardened by a life of hardship and abuse, turned to murder, claiming the lives of 7 men between 1989 and 1990. Wuornos, often portrayed as a victim herself, preyed on men who picked her up while she was hitchhiking. Her motives, she claimed, were rooted in self-defense, alleging that each of her victims had attempted to assault her. In 2002, after years of legal battles and appeals, Aileen Wuornos was executed for her crimes, leaving behind a legacy as complex and contradictory as the life she led. Los Angeles, the city of angels, found itself gripped by terror in the sweltering summer of 1985 as a shadowy figure dubbed the Night Stalker stalked the night, leaving a trail of blood and fear in his wake. Richard Ramirez, a drifter with a penchant for the occult, embarked on a spree of seemingly random violence, breaking into homes, raping, and murdering his victims with chilling brutality. Ramirez's reign of terror continued for months, plunging the city into a state of panic. Finally, in a stroke of luck, Ramirez was apprehended by a group of vigilant citizens, bringing a sense of relief, albeit a chilling one, to the city. Richard Ramirez's trial, marked by his bizarre courtroom antics and lack of remorse, became a media sensation. He was ultimately convicted on 43 counts, including murder, attempted murder, sexual assault, and burglary, and sentenced to death. The summer of 1977 brought a different kind of fear to the streets of New York City. A city already grappling with social unrest and economic turmoil found itself held hostage by a seemingly random shooter, a man who would become known as the Son of Sam. David Berkowitz, a troubled loner driven by delusions and a warped sense of purpose, terrorized the city with a series of shootings, targeting young couples parked in secluded areas. Berkowitz communicated with the police and the media through a series of rambling letters, signing his messages Son of Sam. These bizarre missives, filled with cryptic messages and claims of demonic possession, only served to fuel the city's growing sense of panic. Finally, after a combination of painstaking detective work and a stroke of luck, Berkowitz was apprehended. His arrest, a pivotal moment in New York City history, brought a collective sigh of relief to the beleaguered city. From the urban jungles of New York, we journey to the heartland of America, to Wichita, Kansas, where a different kind of evil cast a long shadow over the city. Between 1974 and 1991, Dennis Rader, known as the BTK Killer, terrorized the city with a series of calculated and brutal murders. Rader's crimes were marked by a chilling sadism, his moniker BTK standing for his horrific method: bind, torture, kill. He preyed on families, often taking the lives of multiple members in a single attack, leaving behind a trail of unimaginable grief and terror. What made Rader's crimes even more disturbing was his seemingly normal facade. For years, the BTK killer's identity remained a mystery. his crimes leaving an indelible scar on the city of Wichita. This macabre game of cat and mouse ultimately led to Rader's capture, his arrest bringing a sense of closure, albeit a painful one, to the families of his victims and the community he had terrorized for so long. Our exploration of the dark side of human nature takes us next to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where a chilling case of depravity shocked the nation in the late 20th century. Jeffrey Dahmer, also known as the Milwaukee Cannibal, became synonymous with pure evil, his crimes etching themselves into the annals of criminal history. Dahmer's victims, young men and boys, were lured to their deaths, often dismembered, and in some cases, partially consumed. The gruesome discoveries made in Dahmer's apartment, littered with human remains and photographs of his victims, sent shockwaves through the community and beyond. Dahmer's trial, a media spectacle that gripped the nation, provided a glimpse into the mind of a monster. He was ultimately found guilty on 15 counts of murder and sentenced to 15 consecutive life sentences. The verdant forests and winding waterways of the Pacific Northwest, often associated with tranquility and natural beauty, became a hunting ground for one of America's most prolific serial killers. Gary Ridgway, known as the Green River Killer, confessed to murdering 71 women in the Seattle area, his crimes spanning decades. Ridgway's victims, often young runaways or women living on the fringes of society, became tragically entwined with his dark desires. The sheer scale of Ridgway's crimes, coupled with the heartbreaking stories of his victims, cast a pall over the region, striking fear into the hearts of many. Finally, in 2001, a combination of DNA evidence and Ridgway's own chilling confessions led to his arrest. The news sent ripples of shock and relief through the community, finally bringing a sense of closure to the families of the victims. Behind the painted smile and cheerful facade of a clown lurked a darkness so profound, so monstrous, that it would forever shatter the innocence associated with this childhood symbol. John Wayne Gacy, known as the Killer Clown, preyed on young men and boys, luring them to their deaths in his suburban Chicago home. Gacy's modus operandi involved tricking his victims into believing he was a contractor, a police officer, or even a clown, using these guises to gain their trust before he would overpower and murder them. The discovery of 26 bodies buried in the crawl space beneath Gacy's home, followed by the recovery of 4 more victims from the nearby Des Plaines River, painted a horrifying picture of a depraved mind at work. Gacy's trial, a media sensation, showcased the full extent of his crimes and the utter lack of remorse he displayed. He was found guilty of 33 murders and sentenced to death. In 1994, John Wayne Gacy was executed by lethal injection, his death bringing a finality, albeit a hollow one, to the families of his victims and a community forever scarred by his heinous acts. He was charming, intelligent, and handsome, a facade that hid a monstrous secret. Ted Bundy, one of the most notorious serial killers in American history, shattered the illusion of normalcy, proving that evil can lurk beneath the most unassuming exteriors. Bundy's crimes, spanning several states during the 1970s, targeted young women, often college students, who resembled his first love. He would lure them to their deaths, often by feigning injury or impersonating authority figures, before brutally murdering them. What made Bundy's crimes particularly chilling was his ability to blend in, to appear charming and trustworthy, even as he was actively planning and executing his gruesome acts. Bundy's trial, marked by his own attempts to represent himself and his bizarre courtroom demeanor, captivated the nation. He was ultimately convicted on multiple counts of murder and sentenced to death. His execution in 1989 brought a sense of closure to the families of his victims, but his legacy continues to haunt the American psyche. Our journey into the heart of darkness concludes with a chilling reminder that some mysteries remain unsolved, their power to terrify undiminished by the passage of time. The Zodiac Killer, a shadowy figure who terrorized the San Francisco Bay Area in the late 1960s and early 1970s, remains an enigma. His identity a source of endless speculation. The Zodiac Killer's crimes, marked by their brazen nature and the cryptic messages he sent to the press, instilled a sense of fear and uncertainty in the region. Despite a massive investigation and countless leads, the Zodiac Killer's identity remains a mystery. The case, though cold, continues to capture the imagination, its unsolved nature a testament to the enduring power of mystery and the chilling allure of the unknown. The Zodiac Killer's legacy serves as a stark reminder of the enduring power of fear, the allure of the unknown, and the chilling possibility that some mysteries may never be solved. As we've journeyed through the darkest corners of American history, we've encountered monsters both human and inhuman, each leaving an indelible mark on the nation's psyche. These stories, though difficult to stomach, serve as a stark reminder of the capacity for evil that exists within the human heart and the importance of vigilance in the face of darkness. Thank you for joining me on this chilling exploration. Don't forget to share your thoughts on which case you found most intriguing in the comments below, and be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more true crime stories and top 10 lists.